Hi, and welcome. I'm Louise Hudson, and this is Gretchen Cother with Lee County Federated Republican Women, and we're here today to do another interview of one of our candidates. Today, we're interviewing Senator Gregg Fulfer, running for New Mexico District 61 Senate. And so with that, Greg, would you like to introduce yourself and say what you're running for, a little about yourself, please?
Yes, I'm State Senator Gregg Fulfer. I'm running for the State Senate District 41 position. Graduated from New Mexico State University as an electrical engineer in 1984. I'm a businessman that's run several businesses. I've been in the oil and gas business for 35 years, along with several other businesses, such as electrical business for 24 years, and doing water recycling now, and been doing that for the last 7 years. My wife is Kim Fulfer. We have 2 daughters, 7 grandkids, and they all live here in Jao, New Mexico. And they've followed in our footsteps of coming back here, marrying local boys, and having their own business, and raising 7 grandkids.
Wow. Well, great. Thank you so much. So we'll go ahead and get started with our questions now. Question number 1. What would your energy policy be for the state of New Mexico?
My energy policy would be to exploit the superpower of New Mexico. They should be the superpower of energy. We're selling our raw resources off to Texas and Oklahoma to be processed, leaving New Mexico out of the downstream products made from oil and gas. We should have a special arm of the New Mexico Economic Development Department working on marketing products made from the downstream cycle of New Mexico oil and gas, being rubber, plastics, pharmaceuticals, makeups, lubricants, etc. We should have an expanded base in oil refineries providing asphalts for road projects nationwide. We should be providing the jet fuel across the U.S. New Mexico should be a superpower, but because of the regulatory environment and the total lack of focus on marketing the raw product, we're giving away billions of dollars in downstream products to the surrounding states. New Mexico could and should be a superpower of energy and a manufacturing base of the nation. We have a great story about our natural gas already. We are exporting huge amounts of natural gas to third world countries and cutting their emissions from coal and wood burning. If you could count New Mexico gas exports alone, we are reducing the world emissions by a huge factor. New Mexico is missing out on the main part of the energy cycle, the downstream cycle of what drives America. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question is, then what would you do to put this policy into effect?
Well, first off, I would work to create a special department dedicated to bringing the marketing, regulatory, and investors together for the downstream companies. Second, I would have the department work to reduce the anti-business regulations that is keeping these companies from locating in New Mexico. And third, I would work to tie this new department with New Mexico Economic Development together to entice these businesses to come to New Mexico and work on developing the markets for New Mexico. New Mexico has an anti-business friendly atmosphere, especially toward oil and gas, that is costing this state billions of dollars in jobs, in raw energy costs, in downstream businesses, in taxable economic base for our whole state. This whole process will take a special department to work on all the issues and to assure investors that New Mexico is open to this line of business. It can be done by showing the number of jobs that will be created, the economic taxable base, and the overall dollars that will be generated. It will be hard to overcome the governor's Green Deal that she would rather turn the state into, that will set the state back for years to come in lost jobs and lost economic base. I'm doing everything possible to stop this Green Deal, as it will erode jobs, our tax base, and our families.
Okay, thank you. Question number 3. What would you do to improve New Mexico's education system?
Being on the education committee, I have a new respect for our teachers and what it takes to bring education to our kids. Money will not fix all of our problems with education, though. The legislators were able to give our teachers a raise the last 2 years, something they needed for us to be able to provide a competitive wage. But we have to work with PED, our public education department, and show and tell them what works in Albuquerque doesn't always work in rural New Mexico. One size does not fit all. An example of that is the K-5 Plus program that extends the school year. The policy rule requires the students to be in the same teacher's class. In rural America, you can't always do that. That one teacher wears many hats in rural schools. Our schools here in District 41 are very well-run schools. The problem is their hands are tied with rules that are more fitting for the urban school districts than our rural schools. We have to get the public education department to let the different districts mold the policies to work in their schools. We have to quit putting unfunded mandates on our school districts and fund the requirements we set for them. We have to set policy for truancy that will work and not tie the hands of our districts. The governor has set a no punitive policy. My goal is to work toward better policies, policies that work in our rural school system, policies that help the teachers teach and not worry about fighting and maintaining the students' behavior. These basic things money can't buy. We have to get away from the top-down approach to education policy. We need to be aware that every district is different, just as Lovington, Hobbs, Eunice, Jow, Loving, and Carlsbad has differences.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to ask you a question that you haven't seen. And so that would be, given the current COVID-19 situation, the crisis that we're in right now, what do you think that the #1 challenge is for New Mexico?
Well, the crisis, this COVID crisis has really hurt New Mexico in a lot of ways. It's affected everybody. But the one thing that it's affected most is probably our oil industry. With the economy down, it's hurt our oil and gas, and it's causing a huge surplus of oil, and our oil storage tanks are filling up, our pipelines are filling up, and once they fill up, that tells the oil producers that we have to shut oil and gas wells in. And once you start shutting oil and gas wells in, then here comes the layoffs, the unemployment. And that's going to hurt our state more than anything. We're going to lose our jobs. We're going to lose our school funding. And so all these things, the COVID-19, we've got to get people back to work. And I think we've got to start right here in rural New Mexico, where the COVID-19 has affected us the least. That we got to put the people back to work here in rural New Mexico and rural America, and get this economy back open, and get the transportation, the oil use back going, and to see if we can't get our oil and gas producers back to work.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And again, if you would just state your name and the position that you're in and that you're running for.
I'm State Senator Gregg Fulfer in District 41, and I'm running for election in District 41 for State Senate.
Thank you. We really appreciate you being here with us today, and look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail. Thanks again.
Well, thank y'all. This is a pretty neat deal here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.